Hello, my name is Shankar Poncelet and I'm here with
Antréa Ferguson.
and together we work at Shank's Web Development and Consulting, and we do quite a good amount of marketing for customers. However, in these challenging times during the COVID-19 crisis, we have a lot of people that reach out to us desperately looking for advice on how they can get the word out and how they can still make sales to survive.
That's right. Now is the time more than ever to be super reliable with your information that's online, timely, updating your services, and we're going to explain to you how to do that.
So I would say the most important aspect right now is to keep it simple in your business. Many of you might think that maybe if I could come up with this crazy idea that is very intricate and elaborate, come up with more variety in my business, I can attract more attention and sell more. But that is precisely not what you should do. I think we can take the example of a restaurant that we looked at recently. Antréa, do you remember Juliana's?
I do.
So what do you think was key for them that they decided that helped them basically go from a restaurant that had 95% of dine-in sales to going to entirely takeout?
Well, one of their transitions that was really powerful was, I believe, putting themselves in the shoes of the customers. What changes would be beneficial to them? Going from dining to delivery, takeout, those are really important changes to make, and also to think about families and how they're going to have to cope. So changing their menu or what they offer to accommodate these people that are regular existing customers still relying on their services in a way that makes sense to them. I think that was one of the transitions that they made that was very important.
Yeah, that's right. I remember the manager and the chef saying they had to think about, well, what did people like and what could they cook that was affordable to prepare and also that was easy to plan for. And they had something very important to say. They said, we do not want to compromise on quality. That means they had to think about one meal per day that they wanted to prepare and tell their customers, you can call in during a specific period in the morning, order your to-go meal, and then you can pick it up in the late afternoon. And it will feed about 4 to 5 people, and I believe the price was $39. So that's what we mean with keeping it simple. You have one meal, it serves a family, because that's the need right now. People have kids at home, it's crazy, there's no time to prepare dinner, so they want an affordable solution for that. Order in the morning, pick up at night. Very simple. So I want to think a moment about how does this apply to another business. A business reached out to me that does parking lot striping. This is of course a much different challenge, right? Because I imagine there's so many different types of striping that you can do. There is making these symbols on the pavements that show that we have a parking allotted to a disabled person. There's the stripes that indicate the different parking spaces. And then we have the yellow stripes that show the limitations of the road. Now, what do you think, Antréa, does keeping it simple mean in such a business? What would be the process? Would be the questions that a business owner should go through in their mind to find out what does it mean for me to keep it simple?
Well, I think one of the very important aspects to keep in mind is you want to look at your target audience, and if they have changed, see how you can tap into that. See who are the essential businesses that are still open. See who is going to need your services and go for that audience. If you know that there are going to be clinics or clinicians or smaller businesses that are still needing your services, to offer it to them instead of going away from that. And maybe that is one of the changes to make in your business that actually makes sense.
That's a very good idea. Now, that makes me think about essential businesses. And the essential businesses I have been in touch with so far, mostly, to be honest, was restaurants that I went to take out a meal that I ordered. Now, I remember that there were specific lots that were designed for the customers to park their car and pick up the food. And also, when you walked towards the entrance of the restaurants, they had these markings on the ground that indicated the safe distance to hold towards the next customer. Now, if I were a striping business, that would be maybe an idea. We have essential businesses, restaurants and others that still operate, and what they need right now maybe is redo the stripes that indicates the lots, the parking spots that are allotted to those who pick up food, and then why not help them make these markings of holding safe distance to the next customer. This could be an idea of keeping it simple in a parking lot striping business. Can you think of other examples for them?
I think that is one of the probably most important right now, because it is fitting into what needs to happen.
Right. So we don't, of course, have the answer for all of the businesses, because one element that is really important to figure out what it means to keep it simple in your business is to really know your business very well. And we assume that you as business owners are in that situation. You have years of experience to draw on and ask yourselves what is really needed right now and what is essential. And again, keep in mind who is an essential business, who is still open, and what type of service that you can provide or what type of product that you can provide is vital right now for them to keep operating. For families, it might be the dinner, and for restaurants, it might be having clear markings, clear stripes in their parking lots. Now, once you have defined what it means for you to keep it simple, we have to move on to another important aspect, which is letting your existing customers know. And the reason why I say existing customers is because right now, to be very honest with you, people online are doing everything they can to get your attention. You have big companies, mid-sized companies, small companies that try to get your attention with all kinds of elaborate strategies. What have you seen so far, Antréa?
Well, I have seen a lot of people taking advantage, a lot of companies taking advantage of highlights and updating their services, but it becomes a little crowded when you see a lot of different ads that you normally wouldn't see for the same services. So there is that challenge there of how do you not blend in with the noise. And one way is to really remember to reach out to your existing customers. Don't forget about them. It's not all about, again, changing everything up to something that's super complex and unfamiliar, but rather streamlining and keeping in line with the people that you know, the customers that you know that are faithful, and reminding them that you do appreciate their business. One of those ways of doing it we're going to go into right now.
Exactly. Before we do that, I would like to remind people that it is typically much easier to get repeat business or more business from existing customers who already know and value you. It is important to let them know that you are still in business and that you are relying on their help. I see a lot of activism and a lot of people helping each other these days, and you just need to speak up to let others know, to let your community know that you need their support right now. But let's get a little bit more specific into what you can do. In a world where everything online with Zoom meetings and ads and emails, all of those things work, but what is really, really strong again is just taking the phone and calling people. And if people don't respond, texting them. Antréa, we can think of an example of one of our customers, medical customers, where texting has made a big difference, right?
That's right. Especially in the healthcare world, it's all about showing that you do care for the client, the member, the patient. And it is always refreshing to get reached out to by someone in the clinic who is reminding you, hey, we're still thinking about you, we still want you to take care of your health, here's how you can do it, and here's how our approach has changed. Now we're offering drive-through services, or you can do your prescription refill online or through telehealth or whatever avenue it is. Because the reality is, a lot of people, as much as they want to take care of their health, it's not necessarily on the forefront of their mind. Getting a text to remind them to do that, telling them where to go and what the changes are very helpful in helping clients and customers to still be active and engaged, and to have that personal sense of, oh, I can directly communicate with my provider and I know that they still care and that they still want my business.
Exactly. So if I were a restaurant that is currently not known for takeout, I would see if I could call all of my loyal customers and tell them, listen, we know that you appreciate our food. We are still cooking. This is what we do every day. Please call us to put in your order and we can deliver, or you can do curbside pickup. Same for the example of the parking lot striping business. I would call up businesses that I have already helped out and I would say, have you adjusted your operation so that people now have to come pick up? And do you need any type of markings that make that process easier? And if they don't, always ask for a referral. Very important. Everybody that you are in touch with, ask them for a referral, because people need to be reminded sometimes just by asking them, do you have someone in mind? That'll bring up some memories and ideas that they can help you with.
I think it's also a good way to put in their mind that that is a solution that they could have in surviving this whole COVID crisis and challenge, because maybe the business owner is too busy to be thinking of how they can rework their business in a way that is going to still reach their clients. And that is a good way of actually having a conversation, because you open up that line of communication and informing them that that is an option, that that's something that they can do to help their business keep going.
The next group of people I would like to talk about is family, friends, and really there is a category missing, which is the community. Right now, people want to support you, want to support local business more than ever, because everybody can really put themselves in the other person's shoes. And one very simple way of sharing with your friends and family, of course, is again by calling, but also, as you guys know, if you are on social media and you share something on your personal profile, that is much likelier to get attention than if you share it on your business page. So you could first share it on your business page, your special, if you have a special dinner or some kind of special service that you offer, and then you reshare it to your own personal profile. And really asking your family and friends, your network, for their help and support. I have seen countless very specific groups, whether that is neighborhood groups or coronavirus groups or positivity groups, countless groups come up all over Facebook, and I'm sure on other platforms. There's LinkedIn, there's so many different platforms, and now more than ever it is an opportunity to reach out to the community. Which examples of community outreach can you think of, or do you have an example that worked for you recently?
I was actually really intrigued when a meetup group reached out and said, this restaurant offers curbside service. Why don't we all get together in our cars, practicing social distance, keeping hygienic and all of these things, and still support this business? I thought, wow, that is really revolutionary, because under normal circumstances, we would never do this. But now we have an opportunity to socialize, we have an opportunity to support this business, and we're doing it legally and the way that it should be done. And it will also really, really help this business to survive. It's the difference between a company needing what they need to get through for the month and not, when it's a lot of people mobilizing in the community doing it all together.
Yes, so this is a perfect segue into the next item here, social media. And really, this bullet point stands for any type of online media. Most people will obviously think Facebook, but there's so much more. And really what I'm trying to say with this is, if you are not on social media yet, and I know there is businesses that are not, you absolutely need to start it now. This is also maybe a downtime for you where you have a little bit less work. So take advantage of that time to build a foundation for when the time goes back to normal. Now, don't get me wrong. Social media is not a miracle, but it is a tool that will come in very handy for you. Social media works best when you create good content and you combine it with a budget. And it doesn't have to be a high budget. You would be surprised how many people you can reach with just promoting a certain post for $5 or $10. You can reach thousands of people, but you need to make sure that your content is compelling and good and relevant in these times. And that you can only achieve if you really think about what does keeping it simple mean for you. Anything to add to that, Antréa?
I think you've got it covered.
All right, so one aspect that is important in social media marketing, and any marketing for that matter, is to try different things. Trial and error is important. You need to be creative, especially if you are on a low budget. You need to use your creativity to pique someone's interest. Right now, with what I call all this noise, you need to stand out of the noise. And you can achieve that with creative ideas, thinking out of the box, and finding that fine line between compliance and also being a little bit rebellious and trying something different. And you just have to approach this in a very iterative way, where you see, I have this theory, let me test it and see if it works or not. Next item, emailing lists These will also only work for you if you have a fairly large a mailing list that you have collected contacts over the year. One aspect that I love about emailing lists is that these contacts belong to you forever. Because social media, if Facebook ever went to go down, I don't think it'll happen, but if it ever will, all of those contacts, all of those page likes, they just disappear overnight. Email contacts, however, you have them forever and you can build up an ongoing relationship with those contacts. Now again, if you start from scratch right now in these times, it's probably a little bit hard. Doesn't mean that you can't start and you shouldn't start. I think it is a very vital element of any marketing campaign, and there's tools out there such as MailChimp and others that will let you do that. It is really a course in itself, doing email marketing, but it's certainly something that belongs on those lists.
And again, with it being COVID crisis season, now more than ever, people again need the timely, reliable information, and what better way to send that out than through an email. You can have a lot of people respond that you never otherwise would have thought responded, either to support you or to ask more questions. We do have a good example with one of our clients who called specifically because of an email that was generated that explained how the business was meeting certain needs now and how they were changing, which is really good to keep the public informed of your processes and updated on how you're still able to serve them and help them.
Next item here would be flyers. They are extremely powerful in times where the online space is very crowded. Now, once you have your customer transaction, make sure to give them a flyer or a business card. It's very simple. We've spoken to Juliana's, the restaurant in Castroville that is very successful with their takeout orders, and what they told us, it is just so essential. Any food that leaves the restaurant goes with a flyer that has all the information about the service they're offering. So make sure you take advantage of that. You could also maybe design a flyer if you are in a neighborhood that has lots of potential customers, and then hire someone to go out and pass those flyers into the mailboxes.
And coupons, what do you think of that going on to flyers?
Yeah, coupons still work, especially in times where people are on a tight budget, and it is no secret that everybody is a little bit pressed financially these days. So a coupon is definitely something that would work too. Virtual networking. Zoom is the key word here. I know that my Chamber of Commerce intends to do their next luncheon and their next mixers virtually. I have not personally attended a virtual networking event yet, but I heard good feedback of people who have. Big and small organizations do not want to completely stop their activities, and everybody's forced to do it with Zoom or another type of webinar, and it is important to keep showing up. Maybe for some of you it's even an opportunity. Maybe you have been a little bit timid or shy to go out in person and shake hands. Now is the time for you. Maybe you feel more comfortable at home behind your camera to conduct virtual networking. If you do not know of a virtual networking event, please feel free to reach out so that I can invite you to the luncheon that is virtual by the Texas Tri-County Chamber of Commerce. That happens very soon. Moreover, Antréa and I are involved in a Toastmasters club, which is a public speaking club, and those meetings too were transitioned to online meetings. So if you're interested in that, they happen on Mondays at 5:30 Central. No matter where you are welcome to join us in that meeting.
Well, I just had a couple of tips that might help people, especially those who are unfamiliar with how virtual networking works. And each platform is going to be different, of course. Every meeting is going to be different. But there are a couple of things that you can do that will help you, and that's just log on a little bit early, make sure that all of your settings are adjusted correctly, and test a little bit before you go live. And that will really set you up to be in a position where you can still network as you want without worrying about any quirks or complications. Just something to be aware of. There are some changes that we need to make during this time, and that's one of them.
Absolutely. Next item here is make it easy to buy and pay online. Now we have a web development company. Obviously we are very much into building beautiful and complex websites, but right now if you don't have a website you should have one. But what I'm not telling you is to start building a website that costs a lot of money and that takes forever to be done. There is, of course, a good argument for that to be done in normal times, in whatever stage your business may be in. But right now, what's really vital is that you get up a page that shows your product, your service, even if it is just one service or one product, with a buy now button, and people can leave instructions on how to deliver to them, or you can tell them to come pick it up at a certain time. This is very, very important, and it can be done, I promise you, quickly and affordably. There are tools out there called website builders, and they are typically between $10 and $45 a month. It depends on what you try to achieve, and they just let you do a website probably within half an hour, I would say. If you know how to assemble a PowerPoint, you can create your one-page simple website that has a buy now button. I believe that most of you out there are able to do that yourselves. I happen to sell a website builder that is very easy to use. If you're interested, let me know. If you think that this is something you cannot do because maybe computers are not your friend, then we will be happy to help you quickly and affordably with that as well. Just think about the fact that it needs to be easy to buy and pay for your service or product online.
I don't think the point can be underscored enough of how important this actually is, because when people use filters, if you don't even have the ability to buy and pay online, you might not appear in their search results. Is that right?
Yeah, that is especially true for these days where everybody looks. They probably search for online order, curbside pickup, things like that, and it's certainly something that helps you show up if you have that option available to your audience. Just an example that locals here in San Antonio will understand. Antréa and I, we happen to be both very loyal customers of a bakery here that is called La Panaderia. And I know they typically have a more advanced website that they built on WordPress. Why do I know it? Because I'm a geek and I have tools that when I visit the website I can see it. But they had to very quickly put an online ordering website in place. and I was able to see that they just bought a new domain name. I think their regular domain name is lapanaderia.com, and they quickly bought a domain name La Panaderia Online Orders, if I'm not mistaken, or something along those lines. And they used a website builder called Weebly. Again, I can see that with some analysis tools, and they just put up their products and made it very simple for people to pay online. And we did it today. It worked very, very well. Finally, our last point is don't compromise on quality and customer service. This is just very important. I'm thinking back to the Juliana's restaurant, where the chef told us and the manager told us is really, really vital that you think about meals that are now being transported from the restaurant to the people's homes, and you want to think of something that doesn't lose quality during that process. They are very known for their steaks, but doing a steak as a takeaway meal would not have been the best idea, because the steak wouldn't we are both, Antréa and I are vegans, so we don't know much about steaks, but we were told they would certainly not be very tasty anymore.
Right, and the analogy was basically of a steak that is ordered medium rare, and then by the time that it's reheated either through microwave or oven or pan or whatever, it's a completely different dish than what was originally ordered. And I thought that was another way in which Juliana's, that they were putting themselves in the shoes of the customer, because that's the only way really to make sure that your customers are getting what they want, is by thinking, what would I want if I ordered this? And a good way to not compromise on customer service and quality, offering an alternative, knowing that that customer wouldn't be happy with what they would go ahead and do. And maybe to the untrained eye or the unknown person, they wouldn't see a problem with it initially, and you're really not going to get the results until you take it home and you try it yourself. But staying ahead of the game and thinking through those processes really did probably help them when they were creating their menu. Wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it is a good moment for us to kind of look back at what we spoke about, keeping it simple. Again, think about your audience and what do they need most right now. Start by reaching out to existing customers, and if they see that your service or product is still good, they will start referring you out. Ask for that referral as well. Word of mouth is very, very powerful. We know that right now you might not have the biggest marketing budgets, which is why you need to start with those existing customers. And then make it easy for them to buy and pay online. If you really can't make a website, well, you can even have these payment apps these days where Cash App or Venmo, where people can send you money over the smartphone. That would be really the absolute minimum you could set up. And then of course make sure that whatever you produce or deliver is of good service and quality. Guys, we're gonna wrap this up now. We are always here to help you if you want to talk over certain things, if you want to have some more insight or some advice on aspects we spoke about. Feel free to reach out to us. As always, when you do anything online, have a call to action. Our call to action today is stay in touch with us. Here our Instagram handles are shown on this slide, at Shankar Poncelet for myself, and then
I'm Antréa Ferguson. My handle on Instagram is Antréa Scribes, and I'm the content specialist.
All right, wherever you see this video, you can also give us a like, share it, follow the platform, and we hope that you will get through this crisis and stay safe and healthy. Bye bye.